Hey everyone, I'm Tom from Sleep Foundation. So in the past, we've been taking a look at some wearables that track your sleep. But what if I told you there was something that tracked your sleep that you didn't have to wear? We're talking about the 8 Sleep Pod Pro cover. So in this video, we'll take a look at what this thing actually does. I'll talk a little bit about my experience using it and why I think it might be worth your investment. We're also going to talk to one of the co-founders from 8 Sleep to learn more about how they developed this product. Now look, this is a pricey product for sure. I think this gave me some of the best sleep I've had in a long, long time. So who is 8 Sleep? Well, the brand sells just 2 main products, the Pod Pro Mattress and the Pod Pro Cover. You can also get a pillow and a comforter from the brand, but let's be honest, if you're interested in 8 Sleep, it's because of one of the pods. Now, I had a chance to try out the Pod Pro Cover in my house for a couple of weeks. The setup was a bit of a pain, rather involved. I'll get to that in a minute, but I wanted to learn more about why this product was actually developed and what 8 Sleep was trying to achieve. So I reached out to Alex Zadarain at 8 Sleep.
My name is Alexandra Zadarain. I'm the co-founder and VP of Brand and Marketing at 8 Sleep. When you look at the statistics, people are spending less and less time sleeping. There's a lot of maybe more distractions, like life has become busier. And so the average American really sleeps like around 6.4 hours a night. That has dropped quite a bit in the last even just like 40 years. Which in the long term, one of the big ambitions for 8 Sleep is to say, well, can we actually optimize sleep so much to the point where you could get the same level of recovery in 6 hours as you would get when you sleep 8? There's this sort of like the big question where we're in this journey trying to not just build the products, but also hopefully advance the science that could give us some of the answers to how you could recover in the hours you already get today as if you were getting more.
So I mentioned the setup process. It wasn't hard necessarily, but it did take about 45 minutes from start to finish. So first you put a protector over the mattress, and it's important that this has a snug fit and it's free of any bunching or wrinkles. Over that cover, you place another cover which zips into place. This top layer should also have a really snug fit, and the zipper around the perimeter helps with that, as do straps that are included. You can tighten the cover on the sides and at the top and the bottom using these straps. The snugger the fit, the better performance you're gonna get out of the cover. This does feel like a 2-person job, so just ask a friend or a partner to help you out. Once the cover's in place, you'll take cables and plug it into this tower-looking thing, which lays beside your bed. It also has a water tank. You fill up with water. The back plugs into the wall, also plugs into your bed, and it has a little USB port here as well, which is going to be helpful for the app. Once this is all in place, you fill up the tank with water and then wait a couple of hours while this cover primes. The priming process is fairly hands-off, but what's happening is water is getting sent through small coils that are inside this cover, which is going to help regulate the temperature while you sleep. So once the cover's primed and you have this tower in place, you're pretty much set to go. After it's set up, you now have a sleep tracker that you sleep on, not anything you wear. And it tracks things like how long you slept, how many tosses and turns you had throughout the night, your heart rate variability, which is something that a lot of sleep trackers are also measuring. And it's also gonna measure your respiratory rate and things like your sleep stages. You can get a bunch of different sleep trackers that do the same thing, and probably for a lot cheaper. The real selling point of the 8 Sleep though is that it regulates your temperature. Like, for real. The water flowing through these pipes will heat up or cool depending on your preference. It can adjust throughout the night to promote a deep and a restful sleep. So one of my questions to Alex was, why was it so important to make temperature regulation a part of their sleep tracker?
And that's something we discovered from our very early conversations with our scientific advisors, where they told us, well, if there's one thing that you could control in the environment to help people sleep better, it's temperature. Now, the core differentiator between the way that 8 Sleep adjusts temperature and any other product out there in the market is the fact that we know when you are asleep and what phases of sleep you're going through. That's where the sensor data comes into play. It's not enough to just go into a bed and stay cool all night, or to go into a bed with preset schedules of times at which the temperature should change. The pod uses the first 7 days or so of you sleeping on it and takes your feedback and learns about your preferences.
So I set the temperature to be about 3 degrees colder than the ambient temperature in my room. So about an hour before bed, I got an alert on my phone saying the bed was preparing itself. And sure enough, when I was ready to climb into bed, I had this really cooling surface to sleep on top of. I could sleep with my full complement of covers, and I didn't have to worry about overheating. And since this can accommodate 2 sides, My wife also set her temperature to something that was unique to mine. Now, as the cover senses my sleep stage has entered deep sleep, as you take a look at my app here, it raises the temperature to just 1 degree cooler than the ambient temperature. And then as I proceed to REM, it warms even further. And then as I wake up, the cover is even warmer still. So it takes about a week for the cover to calibrate to your body and your sleep stages and your bedtimes. But after that, it really tries to learn your rhythms and adjust itself accordingly. Another feature of the 8 Sleep is that it will gently vibrate the cover to wake you up. Now, that sounds convenient, and actually, I was quite excited to try it out, but in practice, not a fan. The vibration was a lot louder than I'd like, and it was not a pleasant way to wake up. I had to fumble for my phone in the morning to turn it off. Look, blurry-eyed, not fully awake Tom had a really hard time with that part. So like we said, this cover tracks a bunch of different metrics, and they're recorded throughout the app on your phone. The app is gonna track what it calls your sleep performance night after night. And I think one of the things I really came to enjoy was just how passive this tracker was. I didn't have to wear anything, I didn't have to charge anything, I actually didn't have to think too hard about it. It was there for me while I was sleeping, it sent me a brief note in the morning to let me know how the night went, and then I just kind of went about my day. But the more I thought about this device, and especially that word passive, the more I realized this isn't a passive device at all. In fact, it's not only a device that encourages you to pay attention to your sleep habits and your sleep hygiene through the data, but it's a device that actively creates conditions for you to sleep better. And this was something that Alex said was a key to their design philosophy.
That was very important for us. The way we see it is seamless. So what you're describing as passive, we thought about as seamless. It's always been one of our core design tenets for our products. That's why we define like the seamlessness of the tracking to be really important, and why we embed sensors into the cover, as you described, like that top layer of the Pod Pro cover, so that you don't have to remember to do anything. All you have to do is you have to go to sleep. In the background, it is using that information in real time to adjust the temperature of your bed. And what we have seen so far is that users of the pod within their first 7 days see a huge improvement in their recovery. Our preliminary data right now shows that around 49% of users of the pod within 7 days are seeing an improvement in their HRV of 10%. And there's around 36% of them who go as high as 15%.
So overall, what was my experience? Well, when you first lay down on this, it's hard not to notice the coils that run through the top of the cover. It's not too disruptive, but if you like that feeling of sinking into your bed after a long day, having that bed hug you back a little bit, that feeling is gonna get lost, or maybe at the very least interrupted by the feeling of laying on those water coils. Now, I'll say that I stopped noticing that feeling after about 30 seconds, maybe even a minute. They're easy to adjust to, but it's just something I noticed kind of right away as I laid down. That also means, because this is a cover that obviously you're gonna place on top of your mattress, you won't get that full experience of that all foam mattress or mattress topper that you might really enjoy. It's not a major thing. If you're gonna drop the kind of money that you need to drop on a product like this, that might be a minor concern, but just something to note. Once I got past that, I loved falling asleep with this. I never felt like I got too hot. I could sleep with my full complement of covers, and I think overall, I just slept a lot more peacefully. Because it adjusts temperature throughout the night, I didn't have to do that regulation on my own by throwing off covers or putting them on, or dealing with putting on or taking off layers. During the last 2 weeks I used it, I probably had the deepest and the calmest nights of sleep in a long time. I realized I'd been getting good sleep only after I stopped using it. The absence of the device has made me realize how much I really enjoyed it. My sleep over the last few weeks has been, it's been pretty good, but I miss it. Like, there's a material difference that I notice. There's no question that this is a luxury device. It's aimed at luxury consumers, and for which you can obviously expect to pay a luxury price. Depending on when you buy it and what discounts might be available, you're looking at spending around $1,700 or $1,800. And if you want the Pod Pro mattress, which has all of this tech built right into a foam mattress, then yeah, you're gonna pay for that too. But one of the phrases that Alex used quite a bit in our conversation was sleep fitness. We are a chronically underslept population. We wear the lack of sleep as a badge of honor. We tell each other to keep grinding, keep hustling, we'll sleep when we're dead. The amount of you who are actually getting your recommended 7 to 8 hours is pretty low. About 36% of you report sleeping less than 7 hours a night. I think what 8 Sleep wants to do is not just encourage you to get more dialed into your sleep, but if you're someone who's getting 5.5 or 6 hours of sleep a night because of any number of issues, maybe you have a sleep disorder, maybe You have a lot of responsibilities throughout the day. How do you make that 5 or 6 hours the best sleep you've ever had? How do you get the most out of that time? 8 Sleep is on the right track. They've developed a great product that really does work and one that I really came to love. But the thing is, we could all benefit from this device. And I'd love to see 8 Sleep develop a price-friendly version for the many of us who really do want to improve our sleep fitness. That's it for this one, everyone. My thanks to Alex for her time and for helping me learn a lot more about 8 Sleep. We had a great conversation where we talked about the products and what it means to be a little bit more sleep fit. So make sure to check out my full interview with her. Thanks for watching, and I hope you sleep well.